Well, I'm going to start things off just by telling you about my own experience with a charismatic leader, my father. And it started innocently enough, fun, exciting even. He came running into the room, waving this letter wildly, yelling, "It's possible! It's possible!" like some kid who just learned about time travel. And, you know, you have to understand, like, I play into it all the time. So, of course, I said, "What's possible?" And he said, "You can play with me on my senior softball team." I'm like, and I really thought he was losing it. He's 72 years old, okay, so it could happen. I don't know. And I said, you know, "Dad, I'm getting older, but I'm pretty sure I don't qualify to be on your senior softball team." And he said, "No, you don't understand. Yeah, if you're a man, you have to be 70 or over. But they just brought down the limit for women to encourage more participation from the female gender. So it's now down to 40, so you can play." And I'm a little taken aback by this news. God damn it, I do qualify to be on the senior softball team. Oh. But, you know, and I say, look, I love that you play so much senior softball. And, you know, I love whenever I can to go out and cheer for you and support you. But play me? It's been like 3 decades since I played softball. I was in high school the last time I played softball. You know, and he gives me it's just like riding a bike. You'll be fine. And that's really easy for someone to say who's never gotten off the bike, right? This guy, you know, he grew up playing baseball in a sand lot in Oregon. He became the star of his high school team and then his college team. He was actually, my brother and I tried to dismay, found out that he was drafted by the New York Yankees. And he turned them down, that's the shocking part, the dismaying part, because he chose instead a full scholarship to get his PhD in statistics at Cornell University and marry my mother. My brother and I could not understand, why would you do that? And he said, well, because, you know, I wanted to be with your mom and I wanted to start a family, and I can't be a dad if I'm traveling all over the place playing ball. It still seemed really lame, but fine. I mean, he was talking about maybe our existence not happening if he had taken this other road, so he had to accept it. And he then started playing, you know, he got my mom to play all these co-rec teams with him, and they were champions every year. They were just unstoppable. And then, you know, when my mom stopped playing, he just played in men's leagues. And the ages would go up. You know, he'd play in 40 and over leagues, 45 and then 50 and over. And now that he's retired, he plays on 3 different teams, a 60 and over, a 65 and over, and a 70 and over. And he wanted me to join the 70 and over league. And he says to me, who knows how much longer I'll be around to play, right? And then seeing the look of horror in my eyes, he said, well, and who knows how much longer you'll be able, to be, you're self-employed. You can come out on Monday, Wednesday mornings. How often will that happen? You know, you're gonna get an office job soon and it'll all be over. So he almost had me, and I think he could sense it. So then he put that last little dig in. He said, don't make me play cats in the cradle, which is what I used to do to him when I was a kid. And he'd say, well, I'd love to, but I can't. I got to do this work project. I discovered that if I put on Cats in the Cradle, before it even hit the first chorus, he was like, okay, I'll do it. So he was turning the tables. That was fair. So I said, okay. And the moment the word left my mouth, I knew it was a mistake. Because he instantly was like, okay, so you got to fill out this form. You got to pay $50 to register. You're going to have to get a new glove because you don't have your old one anymore, I'm assuming, right? Yeah. You got to get cleats. You might have to get some more athletic pants. You can't play in jeans. You know, there were all these things all of a sudden just being thrown at me that I had to do. And he's like, and the league starts in 2 weeks, so we're going to take some BP, which for those of you not up on the logo, that's batting practice. So it all just started swarming around me, and before I could even try to take it back, just as he'd left the room, he stuck his head back around the corner and he said, oh, by the way, don't worry about disappointing me or anything, or my... Yeah, or my reputation. I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, I'm kind of a superstar in the league, and So people might be expecting a lot of my daughter, but I'll tell them that you haven't played in a while, so, you can relax. No pressure. No pressure. So we do take BP, and the last time I played in high school, you practice every single day for like 3 months, okay, before you even play a game. And this was, I had 2 weeks. And so a few days after I'd made the stupid decision of saying, yes, we go, and we're out on this little ball field, and he starts lobbing them in there. And I'm thinking, how hard can it be? He's probably right. But no, he's wrong. It's very hard. It's all about timing, and I have none of it left. And, there's an arc and everything. You have to just sort of wait there and then explode at the right moment. It's like waiting to go fast. And but by the end, after he's throwing me like 1,000 balls, I finally am getting it so I can actually hit it out of the infield. And then when we go, I take off the batting gloves that I was wearing, and I discover I have these blisters, these red hot blisters all over both of my hands from the bat. And I decide not to show him. I don't want to worry him. And so then 2 days later, we go again for batting practice. And this time it's much easier, and I'm doing well. But by the end, there's actually blood staining the batting gloves. So my dad even, who's not very observant, but even he notices that I'm bleeding from my hands. And it's not like a Christ thing. And so he's very worried, and he tells me, well, we're not going to have any more batting practice. We're going to have to give, this last week and a half for your hands to heal, and we're just going to have to hope that you've gotten enough, that you'll be fine. So show up. First day of the game, and the coach, Eddie, comes up to me, and he knows who I am because I'm one of 2 women on the team. And Nancy, the other woman, by the way, who is 85, 90, somewhere in there, she does not actually play in the field. She just comes to bat. And she would be last in the order except for me. I'm actually after her at number 16. That's how many people we have. So that's a lot of innings before it comes around to your turn. So you got to make the most of your turn when it comes around. But Eddie proudly hands me this shirt and a cap to go change into. And, the team names are based on animal names. So there's the tigers, the lions, the bobcats. Those would have been fine. But what I find when I get into the bathroom, our team name, Cougars. And, perhaps even better, a super senior baseball cap. So, for those of you under 40, let me just explain that the last thing that a post-40-year-old woman wants is a super senior cap with a Cougars shirt on. This is not going to end well. And when I go out there, and I get out to the field, Eddie, my coach, explains to me that since he's never seen what I can do, but he's been told by my father that ages ago I used to play first base, that he's going to rotate me in and out with his first baseman. And his first baseman will play, Bob, is going to play the first inning, and I will do the even innings. Okay, this is a little nerve-wracking because I haven't done this in ages, and we didn't even practice that, but I'm stealing myself. Okay, at least I've done that ages ago. I know maybe something. So and I'm happy to just root for people when the first inning comes along. It's actually comforting. I don't have to play the whole time. Just half the game. How bad can that be? And I'm rooting for people, and I'm getting people's stories, and you would not believe the stories these guys have. This one guy is wearing a fishing hat instead of and I'm envious because it doesn't say super senior on it, and I'm wondering how he got away with that, and so I ask him about it, and he tells me that, he had 2 strokes in his 50s, and that his doctor told him that he had to do something more active, not just fishing. And so he decided if he was going to play softball, then he was going to do it his way, with his fishing cap. And he also points out that he's the fastest person in the whole league. And did I want him to pinch run for him? And this is kind of insulting, right? Because he's over 70 and I'm... But then he's telling me about how he's so fast that sometimes when someone just hits, he pinch runs for Nancy, even when someone just hits a little grounder, he can leg it out and turn it into a single. And I'm kind of hungry for that. So I say, okay. So now I'm sitting out every other inning. I'm not having to actually run. You just hit the ball and get out of the way. That's the job. And I'm thinking, this could be okay. But before I can get up to the plate, it comes to my first time playing first base. And when you throw a few warm-ups, your guys, and that goes okay. They throw it back to me, I catch it, everything's good. But the first guy who gets up hits this solid ball to the third baseman, a grounder, and he throws it kind of wild. And I jump, I make the catch, but when I come down, my little plastic rubbery cleat on this kind of plastic surface of the first base, which I do not remember at all, I remember them being cloth, it comes down and my foot slips, and I fell all right on my butt, and I dropped the ball. And so the guy's safe, and he feels so bad for me, he helps me up. So I've got like a 70-something-year-old guy helping me up off my ass. And now I'm thinking, okay, this is just going to be humiliating. This is going to be, like, painful. I could get hurt. And then after that inning, when I come in, Coach Eddie pulls me over, and he's like, yeah, I made a little change. You're not going to be playing first base anymore. You're going to be subbing for Dave, switching out with him in right center. Now, they have 5 outfielders, folks. And the idea with right center is that hopefully if a ball is hit that way, either right field or center field can get it. That's the dream of a coach, I'm sure. And Dave, who I'm switching with, has to be at least 100 years old. He's definitely the oldest one on the team. And he tells me that, his doctor forbid him from playing ball anymore, but by God, he wasn't going to live if he couldn't play ball. And he didn't care if it killed him. And I'm thinking, these people are crazy. They've all had strokes, and they're still playing ball. I could die. I'm out here in this outfield, which is all patchy and rocks and things. And I'm thinking, if I have to run for a ball, I could trip and fall and really hurt myself. Because, okay, I'm not over 70, but I'm over 40. And I have to say, though, the beautiful thing is, even though these masher guys get up, who I'm thinking, there's no way this guy's over 70. I mean, like, big, tough-looking guys. And they're, looking at right. One guy points at me when he gets up. But luckily, nobody actually hits a long fly at me. Because I'm thinking, I've never done this before. And, you need the depth perception. I don't have it. So I don't know what's going to happen to a ball. And I'm out there praying, please, God, don't hit the ball. Which then I think that's bad juju. So then I try to change it up. I'm like, yeah, come on, bring it. Hit it my way. But like I said, the ball never actually comes my way. I'm happy to report. Doubleheader after doubleheader. I played in 24 games. I never had a fly hit at me. I just had all this tension, every other thing. Because a lot of guys can't, as much as they want to, they can't pull the ball to the opposite field. They're used to hitting, left field. That's why you put your best fielder out in left field. So, except for my dad. My dad can hit it anywhere he wants. He is a badass. And if they make the mistake of coming in too close, he just blows it over their head. He's hitting at least 1 home run every game, and it is amazing. And he's humble, and he always knows what's going on in the game, and he's helpful to everybody. He never snaps at somebody when they let the ball go through their legs. He's not that guy. And it is so great to see my dad in action that I think even if I can't do it, it's so nice to know that I'm related to that I come from that. Maybe when I'm over 70, I'll be able to achieve that. I don't know. But for now, I've got this lovely hat as a keepsake. I've got the fact that I did not injure myself or get killed. And I have the decision to make whether I'm going to play again next year. Thanks.